I found the button to
Remember,
record it, so now we're online again. Okay, go ahead.
so this whole flip it thing, it works so well if you're willing to give it a chance. For me, it does. Now, that
Yeah.
doesn't mean it's going to work for others, but it does for me. I'm just finding like, you know, I hear something about a friend who's having problems and I'm concerned. I can flip that into what can I do for the friend to help them with their situation? I
Exactly.
want to eat junk food. I want to eat sugar. But I know that it's not really what I need to do or should do or really what I want to do because it's going to keep me from achieving the goals I have for myself. So what do? Flip it. I flip it and think, okay, you're not going to have sugar. What's something else you love to eat, but it's nutritious? There it is. I
Right.
just eat that instead of the junk food.
Right.
And then, of course, I flipped the other thing of, not um, having junk food in the house. That makes it a lot simpler, you
Right.
know.
Right.
But it's such a simple thing, and I'm sure it's been around for centuries, but I've just recently discovered it, and it really is helping me. And if I'm in a bad mood, I just turn on something that makes me laugh. If I'm sad, I take a walk. All these things. You know what to do
Right.
lots of times when you have these situations. But tell me what your 2 cents is about all
Well,
this.
no, because I'm reflecting on what you just said there. First off, you're saying, you're just using this great little term, flip it. And I've been reading these Buddhist stories and a lot of different wisdom from Buddhism, from this new one I've gotten, Louise Hay. And
Oh, I know her. I've got one of her books.
see, and I just got one just literally 5 minutes ago, Heal Yourself. Um,
I think that's the one I have. I hope I still have it at home.
Well, and the irony of it is, like all these books that we're reading and so forth, it's more than just the one topic. It's an overriding view of more or less what you just said, how to flip it, how to take bad news and flip it into something positive, a different way of looking at it. Like Buddhism keeps saying, we're not here to solve your problems or, make the world a beautiful place. What we're helping you to do is look at it in a different way, you know, find some happiness, some joy, some peace of mind in the reality of life, It's a really interesting and powerful thing. And like you said, you can sit there and say, well, that's common sense. And it is. But you don't always exercise common sense. You know what I mean? You're not
That's true.
right. You don't have the presence of mind to step back and say, how can I see this in a positive way? So I think it's beautiful you're doing that. And it's a great example. And you don't have to repeat it. I'll paraphrase it right here. You're sitting home warm and cozy. A friend of yours says, hey, come on outside and spend an hour in the cold and rain to watch me do my thing. And no, you don't want to do that. But then you realize, well, why not? Why not? Why not just put on my mittens, you know? And so you're doing that, and it's a wonderful thing. And
It really is. And the other thing about what you were just saying is I don't go to the past. I go to the future.
right, right,
And I just flip it and say, stay in the present. Now, that's been a huge change I've made in my life over the last year.
yep,
And it just really has made, if I just stay in the moment, because what I'm doing is thinking of the future, which I have no control over. I don't even know what the future is going to bring. It may bring something so much better
right, right,
than
yep,
what I have. And, it's so simple,
right.
and yet it's so easy to forget it. And so I have this whole little mindset of thinking of flipping a pancake and flip it.
See,
And that's
that's a
helping
beautiful
me
way.
remember.
Sure, that's a beautiful image. And like you just said, I think what we learn as we go is that, and I think this about the Beatles a lot. The greatest songs are not the ones that are so complex and so full of blah 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 different chords or whatever. Uh, They're simple. They're easy. They're singable. They're enjoyable. They make you happy. They make you smile, or they make you sad. But the point is, they're simple. And I think that we overthink things a lot because we think that the answer is going to be so damn complex. And maybe
Exactly.
we have to go through that to get to the simplicity of it. But, ironically, ultimately, you do end up kind of making the right decision. And ultimately, and this is kind of Louise Hay, the world is, life is going to take care of you. Life is going to take care of you. And, in this health thing, she's saying don't accept the diagnosis of it's incurable as your reality. It's not. It's curable, whatever it might be. But anyway, what is my 2 cents? Okay, a friend of mine, a close friend of mine, we won't name, said, "Hey, why don't we, go up the block? They're going to block off one of the streets here and do trick or treating. Why don't we just walk up there and watch the trick or treaters?" Alice, talk. I mean, talk about simplicity. I've been living here 16 years. I don't know how many times they've done it. I've never thought to do it. Never thought to do it. Every year we'd say, "Well, I hope we don't get any trick or treaters. We're not really prepared." I'd have a little bit of candy ready in case. But my point is, the simplest thing, going out and walking up the street and watching these kids being so excited and all dressed up in their little costumes. And Alice, I had bought a little, not I bought a little Christmas uh, suit for Zeke, and I put it on him last night. And
Oh, how cute.
oh yeah, oh yeah, and I didn't
And of
worry about
course,
what
he was the
season it
hit.
was. He didn't worry about nothing. He's just trotting up the street, being a little Shih Tzu, and we just had a glorious time. And I'm telling you, Alice, part of me now is instead of saying, "Well, why don't we just go one more block? Why don't we can you can make it one more block. You can go another block." I didn't do any of that. I mean, there was a little of that in me, but I was like, "We've come this far. You want to turn around and go back? Let's do that." Because
I, I
don't turn
know.
a good thing into a bad thing, And that's
And
another part of flipping it.
more is not always better.
Exactly. Exactly. Just be thankful that someone wanted to share this evening with you this way, and you've done that. And, the next, if trying to push it another 5 or 10 minutes is not going to make it better.
No,
It could actually suck away some of the fun you've already had. So these are things I'm learning about myself, even here.
I know it's so great. And I do believe part of it's the wisdom of getting older,
I
you
do.
know,
Yes.
and I just am so grateful and happy that I'm not negating positivity by old behaviors that don't work.
Exactly. That you actually can learn from experience. I'm eating a health food chocolate
Yeah,
cookie.
that's exactly right. You do exactly. It's just, I don't know. It's like you and I've said.
Excuse me.
Do I want to go back to 30 years old? No, I do not. I'm much happier now. I'm much fuller in my experiences. Instead of wanting more, like you said, I'm grateful for what I have. And it just turns life into a more satisfying experience. And I do end up every time feeling more grateful
Yeah.
than more annoyed or impatient or negative, any of those behaviors and thoughts we don't enjoy.
Exactly. And I was coming up with this other thought is there's strength in weakness. I have realized that everything that I've been able to do, that I was big on hiking and biking and everything, that was all great in its time and place. And I'm still doing that to a degree. I look around and I see these young kids doing wheelies and doing this hot stuff. And it's like, that's great. That's great for them in their time. But that's not me anymore. And just kind of like what you're saying, I don't really envy, admire it maybe, but I don't envy it and think, oh my God, I wish I could do that again. I don't, because really, you're just kind of lucky that you were able to do any of that in your youth. And now what I'm discovering is weakness, in effect, kind of can give you better empathy, more empathy. Um, because you don't. I don't want to take it for granted. Not even now that I can maybe walk another 5 minutes or something. That I realize I have to realize not everybody can do that, and be aware of that, and be thankful for what you have.
It's so true. And I'm letting go of what are people going to think about me? Have I told you about the Halloween party I went to?
No, no, that's what I guess that was last night, right?
Well, actually, it was the 30th. My friend had it the evening of the 30th.
Okay,
And I went as Annie Hall.
great.
And I was so happy in my costume. My costume was not totally what Annie Hall would have looked like, but it was close enough that when I entered into the party, I wasn't thinking, oh, are people gonna, I wasn't like, oh, people
Right,
are gonna know who I am. What am I gonna say?
right, right.
People knew immediately. Oh my gosh, you're Annie Hall. I love Diane Keaton. You even look like her. Well, I don't, but my outfit was enough Annie Hall that it worked. And the thing that I enjoyed so much was I had been Googling how do I act at a Halloween party when I'm dressed up as Annie Hall? And I was trying to memorize,
Right, I don't doubt it.
I knew to say la di da and all those, but I was trying to, remember these little, I didn't even need them.
No, no.
Didn't need them at all. People were so excited, and I think it's because we so many of us were sad about Diane Keaton's passing.
Right,
So it ended up that I realized I was honoring her,
exactly.
and I wasn't able to act like her or look like her. But that part didn't matter. It brought joy to all of the fans there, and it turned out to be so much fun. And the other thing, Peter, that I've started doing that's been great is I have this hat that I wore that night because it is an Annie Hall type hat that I bought a long time ago. Never, never had the confidence to wear it. Well, that's gone by the wayside. I wear that hat now whenever I want to. And if people aren't a fan of it, that's okay. I'm enjoying it. And
Get
I'm
it?
not doing any harm by wearing it.
Oh my
Now, I
God,
did wear
Alex.
it to the symphony last night and I took it off when I sat down.
You're quoting my thoughts. From your own point of view and your own experience, it's just so great to let go of so many of these inhibitions that prevent you
Yes.
from doing things and allowing yourself just to be yourself and be happy with that. And I could imagine you, kind of memorizing Annie Hall's, movies and different things, and being prepared for all whatever questions that are. And then, like you just said, really the most natural way to be Annie Hall is to be yourself because that's who she was. You know.
It was so great. Yes. And people came up to me and said, "Oh, I love that movie. I'm so glad you're, you know, dressed up like her." It just was so much fun. And you're right. I'm letting go and not causing any harm. Now, if I was letting go and, being a jerk, that would be one thing. But, it's just fun to be who I really am without rules that maybe I was taught or exposed to that made me feel like I shouldn't do it.
Exactly. And there you have it that, we we're at this age, we have no really control over that. Obviously, chronology and, time marches on. But, the irony of it is, again, we're blessed to have this time to be able to look back and you know also to look ahead and also like you said try to stay in the present moment. So we have all these options and we have this time to think about it. And when you do think about it, you say, oh my God, when I was this way or when I was that age, I was so self-conscious, I was this and that. God, when I look at a picture of myself, I was well, in my case, I was handsome, I was this or that, I was so much stronger. And it's like, but I didn't think that way or feel that way at the time. Not at all. Not at
I
all.
know.
Ironically, I'm
I
much I'm
know.
much smaller and weaker than I ever was, but I don't really feel that bad anymore. I feel kind of better about life myself. So it's an interesting way. It's just an interesting thing. Um,
And some people are never going to feel that way.
yeah,
You
yeah,
and I've talked about this. We are so fortunate
right, right.
because some people don't have the capacity for whatever reason. It's not a downfall on their behalf, it's just not available to them for whatever reason. And how lucky are we to be? I believe in a lot of ways I'm happier now than I was 20 years ago.
See, Alice, exactly. See, and you have such a great choice of words when you're saying these ideas, these thoughts, because it's right. And here, right there and there, you just said, I'm happier now than I was 20 years ago, but that's not a slight on how you felt 20 years ago or a
No,
slight
no.
against, your role in life then and, your love for Dave and your family and all that stuff. I think that's another thing we have to kind of let go of. It's okay to be happy. It's okay. It's not a judgment of anything but that suddenly, whatever, you're allowing yourself to actually feel happy. I'm so glad I can share this stuff with you. So glad you called. And,
I
Alice, I'm
know.
so glad. I think you've been driving because I've been hearing the whatever lane change, whatever the blinkers. Um, I guess you're going to the game. Am I right or
I'm
no?
going to the game and it's a beautiful day and there's pretty little leaves falling down and it's just I'm just so fortunate. So fortunate and so grateful and wanting to share, that's the other thing is I want to give as much as I can to people who I know and to people, who I meet. I want to share as much of the things that are helping me to grow old happily and successfully with them if they need it. And then they share things with me that help me. So it's just a win-win situation.
It is. And I'm going to throw this in without naming names. I'm going to say that the person that you are showing up for, Alice, the gift you're giving them is truly it's phenomenal. It's wonderful. What you are doing for them to show up, to be there for their moment, means the world to them. And I know this. I can say this from experience. It doesn't really matter. I can just say it through empathy that your being there means the world to that person. They could go out there and hit one home run after the next, but without one person in their corner, the one person they actually care about, to be there to see that, to cheer for them, which I know you're going to do, that means the world to them.
And and then and this is not selfish because I've I have been pondering this a lot lately. I'm a giver, and I can accept gifts and receive them, but I don't think I'm what you call a taker. You know, a friend of mine said years ago, there's two kinds of people on this earth, givers and takers. Well, I've kind of flipped that again to I can be a giver and I can receive love. I'm not trying to take from people to get stuff for me, but I am more comfortable now receiving compliments than I used to be.
Right,
But
right.
giving and showing up for people and loving on people makes me so
Make
happy.
makes you happy. It's that gift you're getting back to yourself. Giving to others is
Exactly.
the gift you're getting back to yourself. And that's why I've been
That's exactly right.
That's why I've been phrasing it as, everything is selfish. And I probably have to come up with a better term, but I kind of do that for its shock value because that's how I feel. And that was a conversation they had on the show Friends that I never forgot. Basically saying, everything we do, even for others, is selfish. And I understand that. But I think it's a beautiful way to be selfish. Let's put it that way.
Yes, and especially when you're not in the mood to do what you're getting ready to do,
Yep.
but you
Yep.
decide to do it because you want to give what that person wants. And in the beginning of all this happening, I never thought to myself, oh, I feel better because I'm doing this. I was
No.
doing it for, and I think part of that was growing up with my parents. They just were such fabulous, and yours too,
Yeah. Yeah.
givers and sharing
Right.
and, all those things. And so it's not like, um, this all came to me over decades, not because of a book or a story or anything. It's just through living life, all of this came to me.
Yep. Yep.
And
Exactly.
I do enjoy giving the gift of bringing a smile on someone's face.
Well, and you're going to do that today, Allison. And you've already done it with me. You're going to do it with your friend you're showing up for. And thank you for taking the time again. Thank you for taking the time to share this and, make my day. So listen, I'm
Well,
going
and you've made mine because you and I compliment each other.
oh
We
my
say
God.
things different, and it's just the best. And
It is.
so, yeah, so I'm getting all bundled up. I've got all this wonderful warm clothing.
Yeah, do
It's not
that.
even that cold. It's just I'm cold natured.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Well, and you have that in common with the person I care about so much and love. And now, like I said, instead of saying, "What do you mean you're cold?" I got plenty of. I'm like more thinking, well, that person is feeling cold. I need to understand that. I need to understand that another person's feelings are valid. They don't have to be the same as mine. They can be they can be the opposite of mine and still be valid. And it's my job to honor that and support that if I really care about that person. Blah blah blah. I'm bullshitting here. I got to move on. You got to move on. You're going to have a great day, Alice. And thank you for
I
sharing
know.
this part of it.
I'm already having a great day. And tonight, a friend of mine's coming, um, to stay with me for 2 days. Now, she'll be busy at some conferences in this area during the day, but I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be fun.
It's going to be great. Yep,
And you've got a great day coming up.
I
Have
do.
a beautiful day. And I think this whole flip it thing is pretty good.
I think it is, and it is. And win, lose, or draw, your being there makes this a perfect day for him. And take my
It
word on
does.
that. Take my
It
word on that.
does.
It makes it a perfect day for him. So thank you again, Alice. And we'll talk to you
And
soon.
thank you. And I'll talk to you soon.
Bye bye.
Bye, sweetie.